on the streets, we can do to them what Margaret Thatcher did to the miners.
So just to be clear, John, you would, what, beat them up?
No, close them. I mean, this industry we could do without.
So, okay, all right, so this got weird. So you would do to farmers what Margaret Thatcher did to miners.
Close down industry.
Very amount of business.
We don't need the small farmers.
Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. And in today's video, we're letting the cows in. But no, well, they're coming in because they're still out grazing, but they're having food. They only go out for a couple hours basically in the day. But that's not the purpose of today's video. This is basically a video on what's happened in the news this morning. Well, what's happened in the news in the last week. So, what's happened is farmers are going to London on Tuesday the 19th of November, which is a week today. So you're probably seeing this on the Wednesday or the Thursday of this week, but I'm filming it today on the Tuesday. So today's Tuesday the 12th of November. So a week today, farmers up and down the country are heading to London for a protest. Now, there supposedly is a cap on, well, at this moment in time, there's been a cap of numbers on how many people are allowed to go to London because they're worried about overcrowding London and what have you. London is already overcrowded, but you don't want to make it worse. But the NFU, who are organising this protest, have actually said they don't want any more people to go. They only want the 1,800 odd farmers who have signed up to go. They don't want any more than that, which is a bit controversial subject, but hey ho. But if you can't go to London, there is actually a number of protests up and down this country which are happening on the same day for other people that can't go to London to go and protest at. So if you can't go to London, don't worry, you could go to another place. I personally can't go to London. I've got my own cows to milk. But that doesn't mean I don't support all farmers. I am a farmer after all, and I do support the cause because it is the cause of this is what's happened in the Labour Party, the Labour government's party budget, which has been the scrap of the agricultural inheritance tax relief. Now, I'm going to debug it a bit for you because there's actually had a couple of comments, and I've seen on Facebook other people saying, you know, other businesses are paying inheritance tax. Why should farmers be excused? Right? Now, farmers aren't 100% excused of this tax. We do have to pay some inheritance tax because that's what happens. But that inheritance tax goes more on the fact on what turnover and what profit your business actually makes that you pass on to your generation, not what the capital infrastructure of the business is worth, which is like the capital investment of a farm. That is a capital investment. So if a farm's worth, say, 3-4 million, that is a capital investment. That is money you don't actually see because it's tied up in property. It is how it is. But the business doesn't have a turnover that is in relative to what the capital investment's worth, if that makes sense. So this has been driven mainly by the demand for cheap food. So farmers don't generate the profit because they're not getting the price for selling the food off at. So it's what you're having to do really to produce cheap food. You can't physically have a big turnover. We can't sell our milk at 3 times the price of someone else because no one would buy ours, if you know what I mean, if you get what I'm trying to say. So that's how it works. That's why we've got an inheritance tax relief, because we're not generating the profit. It's not there. It's physically not there. So we do pay some inheritance tax. We have to, but it's not based on the capital investment of the farm. So what Labour are trying to do is they're trying to get us to pay tax on that capital investment, which is physically impossible because you're going to end up the tax would be something like 20% of what the farm's worth, so you're going to have to sell 20% of the land, which probably doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up. If you're selling 20% every generation down the line, that farm's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The business is then shrinking, so the turnover and profit is even smaller. So that's how family farms are going to be phased out in the long term anyway. So Labour are trying to get rid of family farms. There's no secret about that. There was actually something in the news this morning which is quite shocking, and it's made me actually very angry at what I've seen. And this was an ex-Labour MP. Now I'll put the clip in now.
Status for their farms, and I think that may or may not be right. I'm personally in favour of doing to farmers who want to go on the streets, we can do to them what Margaret Thatcher did to the miners.
So just to be clear, John, you would beat them up?
No, close them. I mean, there's an industry we could do without.
So, okay, all right. So this got weird. So you would do to farmers what Margaret Thatcher did to miners, which was, and she used very heavy-handed police tactics, followed by what? Putting them out of business.
If people are so upset that they want to go on the streets and spray slurry on them, then we don't need the small farmers.
Right. Okay, John. I'm not sure that's a particular. You were, just to clarify, you were a former Labour special advisor, possibly emphasis on the word former there. But just to go on.
Right, so hopefully you've watched that clip, and that clip is basically a former Labour MP saying that he wants to do what Margaret Thatcher did to the miners and was close down the industry. He's wanting to close down farmers and put them on the streets. That is his own words. Now that has made not only me very angry, it will made a lot of farmers very angry with what he's just said. And this is a former Labour MP. Now, why isn't a current Labour MP? I don't actually know. Is he retired? He does look old enough to be retired, so that could be well the case. But still, he should not go around saying things like that. And he said, going around, small farmers going around blasting innocent people with slurry. We haven't done that. We've not done that. That, for me, I'll push him. If he stood on the edge of my slurry pit, I would push him in. I'd drown the I'll have to beat that bit out. But that's just because he said that. Why? What's this person thinking? Even the presenter of GB News in that clip is questioning what he's saying because he knows he's wrong. The whole country relies on farmers for food. Is this man wanting? What does he eat? Does he eat fresh air? Bonkers. It's beyond belief how stupid people can be nowadays. Because that's what he is. This John, ex-MP John, whatever I can't think what his surname was, but he's stupid. It's just pure stupidity they're coming out with. Basically, people not very happy with what we're going to plan on doing with this protest. But it doesn't mean do it with bad people, if you get what I'm saying. The media, the whole entire media, tries to make farmers out for being bad, and farmers are fed up with it. That's why, for instance, I've taken to social media to get my opinion across, because no one listens. No one in government listens to you. They don't give two about you. All they care about is having a turnover of money. Well, to be fair, as a business, I care about a profit as a turnover. The government is no different. All they're caring about is themselves, but I'm not. I'm caring about my animals and the future of them, because happy animals equals more happy farmer. But anyway, we need, back to the point of the protest, we need farmers to stick together. Everyone needs to stick together, because if say 1,800 people have said they're coming to this protest and only, I don't know, 200 farmers that are in the 70s turn up, it's not going to look very good, is it? Whereas if all the people that say they're going go and they turn up and they make some racket, this government will actually look at them and think, actually, farmers have got quite a bit of power, haven't they? The farmers are actually, not to be messed with, basically. So that's why we all need to stick together and help one another out. And on to another subject. There's been a lot of talk in strikes. Farmers going on strike. I don't personally think that's going to work, because there'll be one farmer out there, because farmers are a bit hard to stick together, and there'll be one farmer out there that doesn't stick with the gang, and he'll, instead of tipping his milk away like everyone else, he'll let the tanker pick his milk up and be like, I'll be like, no, we'll let everyone else do it and I'll just send mine. But it's not how it works, and farmers going on that sort of strike action wouldn't work. You would physically have to stop the milk tankers leaving the depot to pick every farmer's milk up. That would be how it would work. Otherwise, it won't physically work, because there'll be one farmer out there that'll say, I'm not doing it. I'll tell everyone I've done it, but I'm not doing it. Let's let the milk tanker take my milk, or let the abattoir pick my animals up, or the lorry comes and picks your crop up and your grain or whatever, and there's still food that's gone into the food supply, which defeats the object of farmers going on strike, because that's what you're trying to stop happening. Stop trying to put the stop on the food supply to make people actually realise that farmers are in control here. Don't mess with farmers. But we have actually got high-end celebrity people on the backing us on this. Jeremy Clarkson's in the news lately, saying that he's going on November the 19th. I'm hoping that's not fake news, but I've seen it on Facebook, so hopefully it's true. But he says he's standing with farmers. Boris Johnson is not in favour with what Labour has done here. He's done a TV interview with GB News as well, I think. Well, I've seen it. I'll put it in now.
Farmers' protest supposedly taking place on November the 19th. Will you go?
Look, it's a really, really dumb thing to do. We are struggling. I mean,
not the protest. I'm assuming the inheritance.
No, the inheritance tax. We're struggling to keep people on the land, to make sure that farmers are incentivised to hand over their business to their descendants.
If you happen to see a tractor,
If I happen to see a tractor, I'm not excluding the possibility that I would strongly sympathise with the driver of that tractor.
And he's basically said that he's not heard anything about this protest until now, but he thinks what a horrible thing it is that the Labour government have done, because there is a problem in the industry of passing it down onto the next generation, and what Labour have done, they've made it even more difficult. So they've made it nigh on impossible. So yeah, I'm sorry for rambling in this YouTube, and I'll just put in the clip now where Labour said, where Sir Keir Starmer said in 2023, which I did use in a previous video, where he said he needs to help, where he's going to help British farming and whatever.
He seems to bring a new existential risk to British farming. Losing a farm is not like losing any other business. It can't come back. That's why the lack of urgency from the government, the lack of attention to detail, the lack of long-term planning, it's not on. You deserve better than that.
One thing we need to make very clear, though, in this protest is that Sir Keir Starmer and the Labour Party as general have no idea how to run an agricultural business. They really have no idea how to run a country. God knows how they're even in power. And actually, hopefully, they're going to see the light and call a general election soon. Because if they've got any sense, they would do, because at the minute they're not very well liked in government, and they're just making it up as they go. It seems to be just, they've got no idea what they're doing. It's like the fact that they've got rid of the heating allowance for pensioners, the winter fuel payments for pensioners. They get rid of that, yet they put some asylum seeker in a 5-star hotel, costing us, the taxpayer, it's something ridiculous, like 40,000 a year. It's per person. No. A lot of people who have got genuine jobs out there, have got jobs, they're on a salary, don't even earn that in a year. Yet you're taxing them. it's costing the taxpayer £45,000 a person to put an asylum seeker or an illegal immigrant in a 5-star hotel. What the bloody hell are they thinking? But then they say sending foreign aid abroad to help other countries which are deprived and what have you, and then they're sending even more money abroad to help combat climate change for people for other countries that are struggling. You've not even got our country to net zero carbon. Why are you sending millions abroad to help other countries out? Just, it's beyond belief. So you've seen that clip now, and you're like, well, Labour have lied to us because they're not helping British farmers because they've enticed a big tax bill on us. They've dropped that bombshell on us, which if they were going to help us, they wouldn't have done. So, Sir Keir Starmer, if you're listening, you've lied. But it was no need for it, really, imposing that getting rid of the agricultural inheritance tax relief, because it's not going to generate a big enough income as for the government as a whole, because they're already in debt, and yet they're still sending money abroad for like foreign aid, and then they're paying for all these illegal immigrants and asylum seekers that come over here. They're paying for look after them and in hotels. They're doing better than British citizens that have lived their entire lives but are living on the streets. So it's completely bonkers what Sir Keir Starmer's actually doing. You know, it's not. It's wrong in head in my own opinion, but yeah. But anyway, for now, that's enough of me rambling. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully I've got the point across that we need farmers to stick together here and support one another, because this problem isn't going to go away. And if you can get to London on the 19th, go to London. If you're not, try and go and support one of your local protests, because there's a few of them going on, I've seen. So yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe below, and hopefully I've enjoyed my little bit of a rant, but hopefully my next video will be something on a bit of a brighter note. Hey, Mrs. Cow. Anyway, I'll see you in my next one. Bye!